Sorry, I do realise I just apologise. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. A bit sound was off this morning, sorry. Okay, it's back on again now. So, firstly, looking at the data for this morning that's already been released, we've got the Australian Reserve Bank of Australia interest rate decision there, cut up by 0.25 as expected. I haven't read the full conference or whatever, I've seen the full statements yet, but it looks pretty much in line as expected with forecasts. This morning we've also seen the average earnings index for the UK, the employment data coming out here. Bit mixed data, the inflation or wage inflation falling there slightly below what was expected, which in turn was lower than previous, so it's showing wage pressure coming off there. Claimant count, that's slightly better than expected. It's expected at 20,000. It came in at -6, so not a bad figure there. But the key things this afternoon is the inflation, US inflation here, due out at 1:30. This could be quite a mover again, we'll see. But let's look at the markets then. The euro dollar. Now I've got a few in the short list here. This euro dollar is one of them. It's a bit an if and but looking on the short side of this at the moment from what we're seeing here now, it's got a sort of a short flaggy sort of pattern here. Now we could wait until 10 o'clock and let this bar close and take it on the break of the low of this current bar, which is probably a more conservative approach. I'd be looking down at least towards the 50 MA and most likely down to the pivot there if it starts rolling for us. So that would be from a 4-hourly picture. There's also this hourly picture, and this could really get us into the same trade but quicker. But it really depends on well, we've got this reaction at the moment. See this early sort of flag reaction into its daily pivot. Now a short while ago this was a lovely red bar and it was looking a lot better, but we'll see what happens. I won't chase these markets. I'll probably wait until at least 8:30, 9 o'clock before taking anything on this and let it settle itself out. If it's by 8:30 it's settling itself, well, I will look for the short side and get into the short side. But still got 8 minutes of this current hour to go through, let alone anything else. But it does look erring on the bearish side there. The pound on the other hand is it's above its daily pivot at the moment. It could roll back. It's around my key pivotal level here that's been played at for several months off and on. It's above it though. It's a slightly more positive. It's above its monthly pivot here at the moment, and if anything, erring towards the upper side. So not really agreeing with the euro at this stage, but it's just slightly outperforming. But you look at it on the short time frame and it's quite ugly, and I was probably stand aside of that at the moment. But maybe if you see the euro turning around, the pound's probably going to go with it, and there might be an opportunity to buy the pound dollar as opposed to euro dollar. US dollar yen not really doing too much at the moment. It's been pushing back up there on a daily basis. It's put higher lows in. It's certainly from in the bigger picture it's looking soft against it. The US dollar's looking stronger against it. But short term, well, we'll see. It's not caught the daily pivot. A break back above the, I say back above, but above the R1 there gives the probability R2 being hit a lot better. So maybe a wait see, but I think we've got to be a bit careful with inflation data out later. Australian dollar, well, that was a reaction earlier on to the news there. It's been quite choppy, not really doing too much yesterday. Reaction to the news, well, it's put a lower high in and looking soft. It's a bit of a similar picture, or a potential picture of more dollar strength coming through here than anything else. Canadian dollar, bigger picture again, it's sort of curving around here, looking like we've got scope to push. It's above its monthly pivot, push maybe back up a bit more. Short term, sort of flaggy pattern, maybe if it can break above the 137.86 area, somewhere around about that, it will look good for another push up there. It did go pretty well there from yesterday morning. I mean, it went really quite quickly. It pushed up there, but it did go further than one might have expected, but we might see similar movement here. New Zealand dollar, very similar to the Aussie, no real point there. Haven't got anything on the short term, but on the bigger picture it did, or it's about to, crack the lows of the pivot swing I was looking at yesterday morning from a daily point of view. So it put in a reasonable bar there, so it has got some scope for a continuation to the downside. Maybe below the 4 hourly 50 would be a better entry rather than where it's sitting at the moment. It might just find that as support and bounce back up, but it certainly looks like it's got scope on that yet. In fact, I will put a signal, an alert on this. Here we go, alert on that, just so it's there for me. Other pairs, there's a lot of chop going out there. The euro pound seemed to, I mentioned this yesterday, I did actually trade this yesterday in the end. On the downside, believe it or not, he says believe it or not, but there was good reason. These lower highs, lower lows on the 4 hourlies, and it just really continued, and it's looking like we might even get a further step down there. It's used a good chunk of the day already here, but I mean, it could be more of a swing. I'm sort of got to be a bit careful in the current markets. I've been quite protective before I went away of positions and swings, etc., because with Trump speaking every other day or every day, it just sort of, you just don't know where things are going, and it's sort of, you just start protecting profits. But this could still be on for a bit of a swing to the or continuation to the downside, giving us a swing trade. Okay, that's why I'm sitting on the Forex at the side there. I mean, the pound is doing well against a lot of its peers at the moment. I say doing well, it's up against most of its peers this morning. Euro is a bit flatter against its peers, so the pound, as I say, just seems a tad stronger. The Swissy not doing too bad either against its peers, but okay, let's look at the other usual suspects. And gold, and get a bit of gold coming in here. Just looking here, it's quite difficult. I mean, yesterday it was looking initially like well, could have done something more, but it did roll to the downside, and I do wonder if this will roll back again. I understand Bitcoin's near all-time highs, it's not far from it. Maybe that's just seen as an alternative safety move, with the masses following in, trying to get into the action. But anyway, gold looking a tad softer at the moment. Oil, so oil was coming off. We've seen it coming off quite neatly. It was a little bit more, if I can get into yesterday, it's never really happened for me in the afternoon. It went to the upside. I was looking for the downside yesterday morning. It never pushed beyond 8 o'clock anyway to the downside. My preference is to trade it in the afternoon. It's not really doing too much here. It has scope to break back below. I mean, it's quite dependent on the US and Russian talks come Friday, so we could end up with a bit of a whipsaw action. Equity markets, S&Ps, yes, they come off a little bit. I am sort of looking at these quite all these equity markets now, wondering how much further they've got to go. But at the moment, they're still, this is with the high lows, higher highs coming through here. I don't want to be trading against the bigger trend at this stage, but where opportunities show themselves on the short side, I would take it, but sometimes that will be just short-term intraday basically, but not a lot either side on this at this stage. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's have a quick look at the FTSE. FTSE chopped along there, not really doing too much on the dailies. It's if anything, it's still, I managed to push up there yesterday morning, just continued through into the 8 o'clock, but then retraced and went again. But it is looking like it's got the scope to carry on this morning. It's just literally opened and pushing up quite strongly at this stage. Looking at the DAX then, really chopping here. Can I please place a trade on a currency? I can't place a trade on the currency because there's nothing to trade. I'm not wasting money, famous. I mean, if you want demonstrations of trades, I'm not taking trades just for the hell of taking a trade, basically, which there's no setups. Give me a setup, I'll take a trade. As I said, on these current the picture that I'm looking at here, I'm just waiting for the setup to occur, something to set it be there for me. Now this euro dollar is probably what most interested, but I won't trade before about 8:30 on it, just purely because we get so many fake moves. Anyway, there we go. I shall leave this video here. I wish you a good day's trading, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.